Hi students, it's Editing Me, and I just finished making a video for you guys on 3 things that we didn't cover in class. The first thing is gradient mesh. The second thing is the blend tool, and the third thing is a much more in-depth video on tracing. This set of videos or whatever together, I encourage you to open up Illustrator and practice all of these along with the video so that you can get some practice. And if you have any questions, then you can ask me in class. I was going to include your final assignment in this video, but it took me a while to make this video, and I think I'm going to do a separate video on your final Illustrator assignment, and I will get that up by Friday morning. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so I mean, I can make it tomorrow since I'm not really doing Thanksgiving till Sunday. Anyway, that's that. Enjoy the video. If you have any questions, let me know. Please let me know that you got this email and that you got the video. And I will make a second video, which will be your final project. Have a nice holiday. Bye. Hello, my students. This is a set of makeup videos. They're all going to be combined into one, where we are going to go over some stuff that we didn't get to this quarter. And remember that this is also, for the most part, showing you things that Illustrator is capable of. There'll be an opportunity to dig much deeper in any of these. And the things that we didn't get to cover are some complex gradients, one of them with the mesh tool and the other one with the blend tool, patterns, tracing. So the first one I'm going to show you is a more complex way to make a gradient, and it's with the gradient mesh tool, which lives under here. Now you need a shape to use the mesh tool on, so I'm going to do a very simple square. Now this tool is amazing, and if you get good at this tool, it's an amazing way to color in artwork. And I will show you, this is the kind of thing that the gradient mesh tool can color. I'll link this video. I'll link several tutorial videos actually from this in case you want to dig deeper. And I would like you to practice each one of these things. I'd like you to show me a mesh gradient, a blend tool, a pattern, and I'd like you to trace a couple things. And I will write that out in the assignment. You start off with a shape, very simply, and then you come over here and you choose this tool. It's the gradient mesh tool, and nothing happens. And then when you come down here, you see you've got this little plus sign. Now you don't want to make too complex of a gradient, so I'm just going to make a really simple one. I'm going to click here, and then all of a sudden you start to get a mesh, right? I'm going to do hardly any. I'm just going to click another one down here, and that's it. I'm not going to do more, because for learning this tool, smaller the better. Now, while you're still in this tool, you can do a couple things. Notice when I move it, you get that little square, and that is referencing your swatches. I can go over, I can move this around. I can always add, I could add one. And notice that I also have my Bezier handles here, so I can curve the mesh. So how does this work? Very cool. You click on the dot to fill it in. Now it's filled, and then you can fill it with any color. So let's fill this one with pink. I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to fill it with red. I'll click on this one over here. I'll fill this one with an orange color, and then I think I will I'm going to move this over a little bit, and I will click on this one and I will fill it with yellow. And let me make this a little bit smaller, move it over again here. Now I could go around the sides, and I could also fill these if I wanted to. I could go up here and do red and keep going. And this is why you don't want a ton of points, because you know each one you could fill. Now what's very cool is these are totally movable and warpable, and so you can make the gradient go anywhere that you want to. And this is pretty cool for just doing some you know, like, I don't know, just kind of messing around and doing free-form gradients. So it's really fun to play with. Go ahead and play with it and make a free-form gradient. You also can add at any time you can add points. So I could go and do another one here. And like I said, you don't want to have too many. And if I switch to the selection tool and click off of it, that's my gradient. At any time, if I wanted to get back here, if I pick up my direct selection tool and I go over here, you can see that I can easily pick these up, and I can extend the Bezier curves, and I can curve the gradient and any way that I want to. Not only can I move the curves, but I can actually just move the gradient around with the direct selection tool. Now, if you cross points, like if I take this point and I cross it, like this, bad things happen. I mean, it can look really cool, but you see that instead of getting the gradient, you'll get a hard line, because this is crossing each other. So to keep that from happening, make sure you don't cross the paths. And now it's crossing somewhere else. So there's another reason that you don't want to have too many points, is that the more points you have the chance of crossing them. And if you cross them, then you get a hard line. And that is the gradient mesh tool. Okay, now we're going to do the blend tool, which is amazing. And this tool blends both between shape and color, which is really cool. So we're going to grab over here, we're going to right click this, make a star. Okay. And we're going to start with no fill, just, you know, no fill. Okay, and then also we're going to give it a little stroke so we can see it. Okay, so that's one. And then and then we're going to grab this and let's do an ellipse over here. Okay, I'm going to hold shift so it's perfectly round. Okay, we have two things here. Okay, let's move those up a little bit. And I'm going to deselect them. And then we're going to go over here, and this is the blend tool right here. So we're going to grab the blend tool, and the options are all about the blend tool. If I were to double click the blend tool itself, it would give me these options. And you have three options. You have smooth colors, steps, and distance, right? So most people use both of these top ones. So we're going to start with specified steps, and you can also tell it how many steps you want. Now, you can also, when you click the first thing, you can also option click it and get the same options, right? So I'm going to click this one first, then I'm going to click this one, and it's going to blend the two together. And what it's blending here is it's blending in steps the star into the circle, and we said 8 steps, so those are 8 steps. And I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to option click it here, and I could say, oops, sorry, wasn't in the blend tool. So I could click here. Let's go 20. Okay. And there's 20. And that's really cool. And you can do a lot of really, really cool things with it. For example, just in the mode that we're in, if we were to go to the rectangular tool and we were to make a really big square, and then we were to make a smaller square inside of it, and we were to use the blend tool just like we did before, and click on this first and then click on that, option click. Let's do that. Let's click here. We would get all of the steps, which is really cool. Now, the other thing that's very cool about this is it's live. So when you move something, or like if I was to go with the direct selection tool and I was to start moving this, you can see that the shape that I'm making is going to respond to the blend. And that's very cool. Even cooler is the fact that it'll blend colors. So if I had this one and then I go this one and to pick a different color maybe for it. Okay. Now it's blending both. Now also the stroke was on. So if I turn the stroke off, I have this really cool gradient. So it's a very cool tool. People, well, they use it for everything, but colors are very cool. So if we were to get to an ellipse and make a perfect circle over here, and then I'm going to copy it so it's exactly the same size. I'm going to hold option and drag it on over here. And this one, I'm going to make this one into like a pink. And then I'm going to go to the blend tool and I'm going to option click, because I don't want specified steps. I want smooth color. So I want smooth color here. Okay. And I actually picked that one, but that's okay. And then I'm going to pick this one. Hold on a second. Okay, let's pick this one. Let's go to the blend tool. I'm going to option click this guy, smooth color. Okay, click this one, and then it creates an amazing gradient of smooth color, and it also is live. So go to the direct selection tool here. I can move it, make it shorter, move it down here, and it creates an amazing blend. I can also do it with more than just two. So I'm going to go to the ellipse again. I'm going to hold shift, make a circle here. Okay, move it over here. I'm going to option copy the circle over here. Oh, and then I want a stroke on these because I can't really see them. So there's that one. I know there's one over here somewhere. Let's have a stroke on that one too. Okay, and then let's grab this one and I'm going to option copy it over to here. And then I'm going to option copy this over here. And then I'm going to give each of these a different fill. So I'm going to go, this one is going to be pink, and this one is going to be red, and this one's going to be, oops, yellow. And if you have trouble selecting these, you can always just go blank like that. Let's do this one, white. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of them and take the stroke off now, because oops, that's not what I want. Okay, no stroke. Okay, perfect. Well, who's meowing? Oh, okay. So this one, I don't like its white because I can't see it. Let's just do orange. Okay, that looks good. Okay, let's go back to deselect everything. Let's go back to the blend tool, and I'm gonna double click it. So I want smooth color, and then we're telling it that it can as many steps as it needs. Okay, click, 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 click. And I can still change the color. So if I pick this one and I say, well, I want this one to be blue. Oh, wait. Let me do that. Hold on a second. Undo. Okay, let's deselect everything. Let's go with the direct selection tool. The direct selection tool needs to be this one. Let's do blue. So that's part one of the blend tool. But wait, there's more. And one thing that I didn't mention before I leave this example is that not only are these live, and you could change the color, say, of this one and make it a different color. Oops. like that. But you can also change the scale. So you can also go here. And it will respect the scale. Okay, let's see. And because these are blended now, you probably have to click it with the direct selection tool, then move to the selection tool. Pretty cool. The thing I want to show you with the blend tool and also make blend is a very cool trick. We're gonna go back and yes, again, we're gonna do a little circle again here, and then we're going to option copy it over here. We're gonna change the color to pink, and we're gonna make a blend here. So we're gonna go to the blend tool. We're gonna do smooth color. That looks good. Yunk, yunk. Okay, now we have a cute little blend, and we can replace the spine on a vector with it. So that means that let's just go to the pencil tool and let's do a big L here. And so I could select this, and I know it's here. I'm going to select that too. And I can go to object and say blend, replace the spine, and it will replace the spine. And that's cool. That's, you know, it makes a really beautiful blend. Also, you can select this and make a gradient with it. So in this case, I'm going to make a gradient there. I'm going to go over here and also make a gradient. Let's make a different gradient. How about a pink gradient like that? And then also what we need to do here is, with this kind of a thing, we need to have a specified distance of them. So I'm going to change it to specified distance. There's 100. Let's do 200. And then one of the things that's happening here is that this blend over here isn't a good candidate for it, because it's making it look like it's got this weird white thing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to, oops, not that. That's not what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to edit this gradient here. God, I keep messing this up. Arr. So let's select this gradient. Okay. And then we're going to go to the fill, and we're going to select the gradient, double click it, okay, edit the gradient. And instead of having the white, let's actually get rid of the white. And we could also, since this is also selected, we could go back in here. Okay, 200. Let's try 300. And you can put this blend on a letter or a shape or anything that we want, and it remains editable like that. All right, I am back, and this part of the video is going to be about tracing, and I wanted to do a much more I don't know, concise tutorial maybe on tracing. Let's go to a new file. I'm just gonna go and pick anything, web large, doesn't matter. And so we have an artboard that we can start on, and let's trace a couple things. So I have downloaded a couple of different things. I will show you what I downloaded. I downloaded let's see, this, no, not that one, this piece of art right here, that I think is going to be pretty cool. It's an illustration. And then I also downloaded a pattern that I want to try, I also downloaded this cool alphabet that I want to try, and I also another pattern, and not this one. This one isn't going to work good. And a flower. Now, before I trace these, it's important, once these get vectorized, it's really hard to go and like delete everything, all the vectors. So I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to go into Photoshop and I am going to isolate this flower. I'm going to crop all of this away that I don't want. I'm probably just going to crop in on this guy right here. Samesies. This is just because I liked it. I'm not going to trace it. And this one. And I will be back in a second with these cropped out and ready to trace. So I will be right back. Okay, I am back. So in Photoshop, what I did, and you can see right here, I really lightened this. I cropped out everything that was around it. I upped the contrast. I isolated my flower here. I took out the background. You can see the original there. And then there's some patterns here that I wanted to kind of play with. I did the same thing. I took out any kind of surrounding image that I didn't want. I upped the contrast so that Illustrator would have an easier time. This makes a huge difference when you trace stuff, right? So I have my stuff that I'm going to trace. Let's open. And by the way, I got the images here of the artwork and all of these from Art V, which I'm not sure if I've gone over in class. This is a public domain, high-res posters, paintings, and illustration site. And so it is pretty cool to go in, and they just have everything. I mean, look at all of these different patterns and illustrations and stuff to remix, and it's so cool. And they have stuff, you know, you can look at botanical, mythology, and if you like to remix stuff, or you're looking for some stuff for art, whatever, you can use all of this stuff and remix it. So highly, and it's free, so highly suggested. Okay, so let me put this down here and let me open up Illustrator. And here's Illustrator. And I have not played with any of this, so we're doing this live together, and we're going to try a couple of different things. So let me go ahead and place my images on. I could go to File, Place. It's the same thing if I just go over here and drag these on. So if you want to, you can do it that way. I'm going to make, oops, I have to hold Shift. I always forget because in Photoshop now you don't have to hold Shift, and here you do have to hold Shift. I don't know. So we have this little guy, and I want to do one that's more of a photo. Let's try this one because the other one has two panels. Might be easier just to do this one. Let's make this one a little bit bigger. And this one maybe not though, because see how the background is great. Well, we'll try it. We'll see it. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we have that. And now this is a photograph. So let's try a photo. Okay, let's put, oh man, okay, that's a pretty big photo. Ooh, there's a bad cat noise. Really bad cat noise. Let me go outside. Oh, do you hear that?
No, hold on.
I'm recording. Sorry, students, there's cats fighting outside of my house, and they're making a terrible noise. They're running on the roof. Somebody just got attacked, like, because I heard it. Horrible. I'm going to drag this one on, too, because I have a feeling that this other one isn't going to work. Not all images are going to work great with tracing. You just got to see what works. Okay. So now we have all of our images. I'm going to actually, well, I don't know. Let's try these first and see what happens. Okay. Who was it?
I have no idea.
Okay. You want to say hi to my students?
Hi, students.
That's Juan. Okay. Now, let's trace some stuff. Okay. I'm going to click, let's make these a little bit bigger too. Why not? We have the space. Okay. All right, nice. So I'm going to click on our little lady here, and there's a couple ways to get to image trace. You have object here, and you can go down into image trace here. There's make and expand, but you don't have a lot of options here, so I don't really love that way. You can also open the image trace panel, and this is, I think, the way to go because it has all of these advanced options for doing image tracing. If you want to, you can grab it and just nestle it right in here, so it's available when you want to use it. And the last place that you can find it is over here. So if you click image trace here, you have to pick one of these at first, and you can always change it later. So this is not a photo. Let's try to do it by color. Let's do 6 color. So we're going to choose 6 color, and we see what Illustrator did. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. And this is where this panel comes in. Okay. You can also get to this panel with this little button right here. Okay. So now, do I like the 6 colors? I don't know. Let's try 16 colors. So you could change it right here. You got to wait for a second to do its thing, but then you get here. Now, another thing that you can do is you could put another copy of the image over here on the pasteboard just to see how it's working if you want. You can view the outlines to see what it's tracing, and you could see the source image too if you want to. But when I toggle back and forth like this, sometimes I forget the original image. I don't know. You could do it in color, or you could do it in black and white and grayscale, which we are going to do. Here is your palette. You could do a limited palette, which is what we're doing. And then here's, if you wanted more colors, you could up the colors this way too. You don't have to pick just the 16. You could pick 19 colors or 20 colors if you wanted to. As you're coming down here and you click advanced, you can tell Illustrator that you want a lot of paths or low paths. Now with Illustrator, you have to wonder, like, if Illustrator traces so well, why does anybody like draw anything? And it's because Illustrator, when Illustrator traces something, Illustrator creates a lot of paths. And again, like if you were to go to view here and you were to view the outlines or the paths, you would see just how complicated the paths are. And this is why it's important to go into Photoshop and eradicate anything that you don't want before, because to go in here and start deleting all of these is, is a lot. So, so basically Illustrator does a pretty great job, but it creates a lot of complicated paths when it does it, and it can look a little bit jaggy. Now, we can also do here is if I go and I say I want less paths. Keep in mind, every time you do this, it's gonna redo it with a result, and this is gonna simplify the image quite a bit. So let's go all the way down here to low. And let's go up here and we can now view the outlines again. And I mean, there's still a lot, but it is a little bit simpler. So that's that. So I'm kind of happy with that result. Let's move on to another one. Okay. And then we're going to recolor these. Okay. Let's go to a photo. So this is a photo. I'm going to click it. I already have the image trace panel open, and I'm going to go and pick something. So I don't want to pick black and white. I think I want to pick color. And as far as the tracing up here, we have some basic things that we can pick to get the party started here. Or we could go back in here again. I think let's look at what we have. So if we pick high fidelity photo, now this is a high-res picture, so it's telling me that my computer is going to be pretty slow. If you're tracing a photograph, obviously high fidelity photo is the one that you want to pick. And look, that's the result. I mean, are you kidding me? Look, but you see how complicated the vectors are? Insanity, right? Okay, so, but it looks just like a photo. Now, where this would be fantastic is if you had maybe a low quality photo and you needed to reproduce it, but you know that you can't. Now, this is vector, so it could be as big as you want. So that's one very, very good use of this. I could do a low fidelity photo. It's going to throw out a lot of the information. It's going to like make it look a little bit flatter. But even with that, it starts to look pretty cool, actually. I'm kind of really loving this. It gives it that screen printed look, if you know what I'm talking about. So I'm really liking that one. Let's try a couple other ones. We tried these before, so let's do shades of gray. And you just go in and play with it. Like, that's the thing about tracing, is you got to figure out what are you going to use it for and what's going to suit this, right? I don't really like that one. Let's try black and white logo. Now, again, it's the contrast, like the yellow and the white, there's just not enough contrast there. So if you're going to do something black and white, be sure that you have a lot of contrast. So let's do sketch art. Okay, let's do color, sketch art. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to trace some stuff. Find find an illustration, find a photo, a painting, something like that, and trace a few things. And that's what at the end of this video, I'll come back and let you know what your assignment is for all of these. Let's do another one. Let's do one more. Let's do line art. See what that looks like. Okay, no, we're going to try that another one. For this one, I do like the low fidelity photo the best. I'm going to leave that one and come back to it. And there's more here to explore, gradients, different things like that. Okay, I rather like that one. That one's good. Let's move on. Okay, let's move over to this guy over here. Okay, now I don't want to trace this whole thing. I just want to trace a part of it. And the part that I really like is this part where these two doggies right here and these flowers. So how can I do that? I mean, I could go back and crop this in Photoshop, and that would actually be a really smart thing to do. Am I going to do that? No, I'm going to show you a different way to crop in Illustrator. I'm going to grab the shape tool, and I'm going to draw a shape over the part that I want to trace right here, like that. Okay, and I'm going to fill it just so I know that I have, okay, that's exactly, I think that's where I want to trace. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both of these like this, and I am going to make a clipping mask. And that's how you clip, that's how you basically crop in an Illustrator. The original is still here. It's not my favorite way. I would really rather crop in Photoshop, but I forgot if I showed you guys how to do that, so I wanted to make sure that I covered it. Okay, so let's go in a little bit closer, and this is already selected. So let's see. Now I hadn't tried this before, and as you can see, it will not it won't image trace with the mask. So we're going to release the mask, and what I'm going to do is I am going to take a break, go and crop this, and I will be right back. All right, I am back, and let's place that on again here. Let's go. I'm going to do it this way. Oh, nope, that's QuickTime. File, place, and let's see. Tracing folder, pattern, place. Okay. And you can see that I really cropped in on what I want. And let's go to image trace, and let's try black and white. That is killer. That looks really good. Oh my God. Let's see the tracing with the source image. So it didn't get the little pupils inside the eyes, and it didn't get these guys over here. See these little guys right here? It didn't get that. But you know what? It did a really, really good job. Let's go back to the tracing result. Okay, now what can I do with all of my traced works? Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. Well, right away after you've traced something, you're going to notice that it's all it's grouped. You can't really do anything with it, right? In order to do anything, what you're going to have to do is expand the image. And so let's go back to this one first, and let's zoom in. This one, no, I'm not going to do this one. Okay, let's go over here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here, and let's click on her. Now we need to expand it, and when you click on it, here's the expand right here. So when you expand it, then now you can actually do stuff to the image. So if I go to the direct selection tool, as I'm moving over, you could see that I could select this flower and I could recolor it, you know, stuff like that. Now, again, it makes pretty complicated paths. So one of the better ways to, and before I do anything, like I'm going to recolor a couple of these just to show you how to recolor some stuff. But what I want to do before I do that is I'm going to go back here and I'm going to select everything here. I'm going to switch to the direct selection tool, and I'm going to go to object, and I am going to path, and I'm going to go to simplify. Okay, and it's going to simplify it, and it's going to make it a little bit easier. You can see it took some detail out, but it's going to be better for recoloring. Now I could recolor the old-fashioned way, which would be that I select, and I want to select it with the direct selection tool. I could pick it and then go individually and recolor what I wanted to do that way, but I don't want to really do that. So what I can do, which would work a little bit better, excuse me, is one way that I could do this is I could select with the dropper, I could select this red, right? Actually, I'm going to select it this way. Sorry. It's late. I'm tired. Okay, so I'm going to select it this way. And then this is very cool. So after I select something, if I want to select all of the same color, I can go to select, and then I can go to select same, excuse me, same fill color. And so everything that's that color, I can change the color of. So say that I wanted to change all of those reds to a pink. I could. Okay, let's choose this color, and I could go select same fill, and you could do fill and stroke, fill color, and this one I'm going to do orange. And I can go through and recolor her like this if I want to. Another thing I could do, I know we went over this in class, is I could select this image and I could go into recolor here, and I could recolor it with a color theme picker, which would be something like I could do, I don't know, let's just do kids. I don't know. And you can see what happens when you know you let Illustrator recolor it. I don't really love that. I'm going to undo it. Let's go back into recolor, and let's try one more. Another thing that you could do is let's do bright. Okay, so you can have fun recoloring your images like that. Let's move over to this guy right here. Let's click on it. We need to expand it. Okay, so it's going to make it available to edit. I could also go in with the direct selection tool and edit any of these vectors that I want. I feel like it's a little bit of a daunting task to do that though, but you could if you wanted to. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit. Okay. And it's already at the smoothest. Now you can do both of these. You can go to smooth and then go to simplify also. Okay, and now it's simplifying. I can say I would like a little bit fewer paths. Okay, like this. That's cool. Another thing is that you can see that there's white in the background that it got, and I can use this. I can use this guy right here or I can get rid of this white. So I could pick this white and now delete it. So with the direct selection tool, see this white right here? I'm going to delete that. And now that I deleted that white, it doesn't have a white background. So if I wanted to use this for pattern making, I could use it for pattern making, anything that I wanted to do, and I can recolor it exactly the same way and go to here. I can say, let's recolor this and let's use generative to do this one. Let's do trippy disco. It's going to do, you know, several different varieties. And I could pick one. I don't like any of these. I could click generate again. It's going to recolor these again. And I could do a whole pattern, you know, of just weird trippy flowers. So that's that. And now this one is a little bit, this one is fun. If I click this and I say expand. Okay, so now what I could do is I can pick individual parts of this. So I can click this one bird, right? And I can isolate him. Or I could pick this dog and I can shift click the parts that I want to get of this dog dude down here. And I could copy him. And I can like perhaps build my own pattern, which is the next video that I'm making for you guys, is how to create a pattern and then how to place that pattern on mockups and how to export that pattern. So that'll be in the next video. It won't be in this video because I want to get this video to you. So I will be right back with the finale of this video. Okay, bye.